Welcome to the Minds with Hakeem podcast. My name is Juwan Hakeem. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And to our returning listeners, welcome back. I truly appreciate you. On today's episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down with a friend of mine, someone I consider a sister, Dani Mincks. She's a passionate advocate for personal and professional transformation. As a director of community engagement and lead career coach at Change Course, she works closely with participants, partners, and community stakeholders to create pathways to meaningful careers. Originally from the Philippines, Dani brings over 15 years of experience in the banking industry and a deep passion for serving the underserved. She's driven by a heart for the poor and a belief that real change begins with strong relationships and purposeful support. Just a quick note before we dive in. This podcast is a personal project of mine and it is separate from the work that I do with Change Course. Alright, now let's dive into this episode.
Welcome back to another episode of the Minds with Hakeem podcast. I'm excited and delighted to be sitting next to my colleague, my supervisor, my friend, although our friendship is on a contractual basis. No, I'm kidding. Dani Mincks, how you doing?
Good.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being here. It's bright and early, and we're in KC for a conference, and I've been meaning to get her on the podcast because I really feel like a lot of people is going to learn from your journey and your stories. And don't make that face. And we're in KC at this conference, and I was like, we got to do it. So thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah.
And hopefully you got enough coffee.
I have one sip.
All right, so we're going to just start at the beginning of your journey, and we're going to kind of go over lessons learned, kind of what you went through, how you got to America from the Philippines, and then we'll wrap this thing up. And I'm excited to have you here, and I'm honored.
All right.
Let's go. All right, so where you from, first and foremost?
Philippines.
How long you been in the States?
I moved here 2018. So about 7 years.
And when you moved here, what were you doing at that point in your life?
So I was with Wells Fargo Philippines. I was the operations manager for recovery collections.
Oh, calling people collecting them funds, huh?
Yeah. Calling people
That's not fun, right?
Get money for charged off accounts.
That's not fun, right?
It isn't. And then you gotta tell them that you're trying to help them. That's kind of hard to convince people with that. But yeah, I was with Wells Fargo as an operations manager, but I hit a ceiling wherein I can't go any further because I didn't have a degree.
So you had to switch.
I had to switch. So I said, so I just need any degree, even like animal husbandry or nursing. They're like, yeah, just on paper. I don't know what to tell you. So I went back to school there in the Philippines, but I took business, but it wasn't making sense. So I wanted to what I wanted to do. Some of the subjects were like making me study my own language. There's a lot to talk about our language because it's slowly dying because of the English language.
Really?
Yeah, in the city.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the city, people speak English.
What's the name of your language?
Filipino.
Oh, it's Filipino.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I was in Indonesia, like the name of their native language was Bahasa.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So that's why I always ask people that. I didn't know it was Filipino. But it's slowly dying.
Slowly dying because we're speaking English.
Is that good or bad? I think bad.
It's
English
double-edged because it makes us competitive in terms of work. It's easy to work do
across
business.
the globe. Yeah.
Yes, because you can speak to Filipinos.
Yeah.
And that's also why we have a lot of call centers from the U.S. and the Philippines because we can speak English. Not perfect English, understandable English, but
well, English is I didn't even realize English was so hard until I started to understand. And I know no other language, but started to understand what people go through when the verbs, the nouns, like how different, something is a verb, but it can be a noun in our language.
And the spelling and the pronunciation. There's same spelling, but different pronunciation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to teach this.
So when did you start learning English?
From a very young age. It's part of our...
Oh, it's part of your curriculum in school?
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you start to feel like, all right, I have to get this if I'm going to continue to thrive?
So I worked for Convergys. It's one of the call centers there. That's one of my first corporate jobs.
Oh, how old were you?
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't finish college over there.
Yeah.
I had to work.
Okay.
So went to work. They teach, it's a 2-month training. They teach you American culture. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then they teach you a little bit of the language. Like how to speak with a neutral accent. My tongue was, I don't know how to say it. It was hard.
Yeah.
So there's, even now you can tell. Like, there are just words and letters I can't pronounce normally.
Hey, to give yourself grace, I'm the same way. I got a lisp. So some of my R's and stuff roll. Yeah. But I understand what you mean, clearly. Especially coming from a native background, I can't relate to that.
Right.
But your tongue getting in the way of your enunciation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
So they had to put me in a remedial class. I had to
How humbling was that?
Oh my God. It's like, whatever, I needed the job. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they would have me read a newspaper article in front of people. And they'd correct you. That's not how you pronounce it. The yeah.
Was that uncomfortable?
It was, but then there was a couple of us, so
it's kind of got used to the vibe of the flow. Yeah. Reading in front of people was a tough challenge. It was one that I shied away from in the States, so I couldn't imagine. Oh, I did tell you. I shared that with you on the drive yesterday. But that's kudos to you for that. Yeah.
So I passed the training, obviously, and then it's just speaking English from then on.
Yeah.
Every day.
Love it. I love it.
We would joke in the Philippines because there's a funny comedian there that when they speak English, their nose literally bled.
Oh my goodness.
So every time they can put in.
That's intense.
Yeah. So it was a joke like, oh my gosh, too much English today. My nose is bleeding. It's a thing there. If you go there and say that, they'll find it funny.
So people know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. So when did the States kind of get on your radar? Has it always been on your radar? Or?
No.
Interesting.
Actually, so oh my gosh, I'm gonna share a little bit of my testimony here. I've never wanted to go out of the country because I got to a position where it's pretty much comfortable. Yeah. For me living there, I was above average.
You was leading and managing teams.
Above middle class, yeah, leading teams. I was managing 100 people, 7 supervisors. It was pretty comfortable. Again, but I hit that ceiling. Didn't make what I was studying didn't make sense, and then I felt like there was nothing left for me there. I just had that feeling, that instinct. So I was praying about it. The trigger or the catalyst for that was I was in a relationship before. This person lived here in the U.S. Oh, so it's like, okay, maybe it's time for me to venture out the country. I said, there's no harm in trying. What's the worst that can happen? I just go back to the Philippines and work again, right? Yeah. So it's like,
take the leap of faith.
It's a risk, yeah.
You was taking a risk, but you had a net. You knew you could always walk back into it.
Yeah, I learned that to always think, what's the worst that can happen? And if the worst thing isn't that bad, might as well try it.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So applied for a student visa. Somebody gave me an idea. Why don't you just study abroad? I'm like, I never thought about that. It's actually a great idea because then I was thinking I'd be globally competitive if I have it on my resume that I studied somewhere else. So I started looking for places here in the U.S. At first I looked at Europe because my dad's in London. Okay. But he's like, what is your plan for your life? Yeah. Why aren't you getting married? I will not support that. Okay. Unless you get married.
Hey, sometimes it takes parents to crush our plans for us to really execute.
I know, and I'm like, what is wrong with studying? Yeah. So, except London. So, I looked at U.S. schools. It's so expensive. So for international students, they charge us double the tuition of in-state.
So I went to school out of state, technically. And we get a little extra bump, too, but not double.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
Double. And I'm like, I don't have money for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I prayed about it. Found, again, I just was thinking, if doors keep opening, it's a path I'll take.
Yeah.
Meaning God's allowing it. So I found a community college in Austin, Minnesota. They offered in-state tuition for international students. So I'm like, let's go for it. Got the money, saved up enough money to show that I can support myself for 1 year. That's a requirement. Got accepted to the school. Got my tests done. You need to pass a certain level of English to be a student in the U.S. So, yeah.
So, question. You've had already been to the States before, right?
Several times, yes.
And through work, just training and various things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like leaving your home and landing in Austin, Minnesota?
Oh, my goodness. You know, that's one of the things. One of the partners we had here in the U.S. told me, I can't see you living here, especially in Des Moines. I said, why? You don't look like a suburban girl, because I lived in the city. So Metro Manila is the capital, and we have 20 million people. It's even more, honestly, than New York City. And
well, where's it ranked at on the, like, international size of, like, because, you know, I've been in Jakarta. That's top 4. I
actually don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay. Because 20 million sounds crazy to me.
It's a lot.
Like, that's bigger than Houston, and I'm from the Houston area. Yeah. So I'm like, 20 million, because Jakarta was wild. Yeah. Like, city wild.
Yeah.
But, gosh. So, yeah, Des Moines is Austin, Minnesota, and now Des Moines, Iowa. That's a lot slower speed for you.
God knew what he was doing, though, because I kind of do get it. I'm a city girl. Mm-hmm. And when I first came to Des Moines for training before, I'm like, yeah, what are you supposed to do here? One of our business partners took me around showing me all the farms. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, cool.
Okay, what's next?
Yeah, is there more? Anyway, so landing in Austin, Minnesota. First thing, we landed in Austin, Minnesota, one of my friends checked if there's Starbucks in the area. And that's when we knew it's not a big city. Biggest Starbucks was 45 minutes away, Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, I got family in Rochester.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to a wedding in Rochester soon.
Yeah. So I landed in Austin, Minnesota, 24,000 people. They only have Hy-Vee, Walmart.
Hey, you had a Walmart. You better be grateful. Some of these places in Minnesota, Iowa, and Texas got just a corner store. But for you, no, this is a huge culture shock for you, though, of course.
Yeah, because 20 million to 24,000. I'm like, where are the people at? When I got there, it was,
So when did you feel like you was on top of that learning curve at that time in Austin? Because you had to be shocked.
I was. I think when the semester, middle of the semester, when I started, because I knew I had to adjust one way or another.
It's good you had that mindset.
Because there's no going back in my head. I chose this, I'm going to see it through.
And what are you studying there?
Business. Well, I took my associates there first.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that it's cheaper to get the actual degree
for
business.
I got you.
So that's what I did there.
Dang. Austin, Minnesota.
Yeah. Spam capital.
Spam.
Hormel is there. So I
did not know that.
I get free spam at school.
Don't brag about that.
Dude, if you have spam in the Philippines, you're bougie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's expensive.
My grandpa, you actually make me think about my grandpa. He loved spam sandwiches. And I was just like, come on, grandpa, bro. Yeah. Like, give me some ramen noodles or something. But, no, that's very interesting. So, from Austin, Minnesota, where did you go next?
So, after Austin, it was COVID.
Woo! Talk about trying times.
Yeah. Although the stimulus check did help me get a car. That's another adjustment because I was just walking around in snow during winter. That was hard.
Well, COVID was hard for everybody.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being a foreigner.
Yeah.
In unmarked territory for you, like unknown territory for you. Gosh.
It was a character.
School went on. So all school went online.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you made some friends in Austin.
Yes, but because I needed to save up for my next phase, which is a degree, the college degree, I was working. So it was good that it became online because it gave me more time to work and save up money.
Got it.
At that time, my options were New York or Des Moines. I've had scholarships.
Look at
opportunity
you.
for both cities. But
so heading to the Big Apple. No, I'm just
I've
playing.
always wanted New York. But God has different plans.
Yeah.
COVID, obviously, New York wasn't the best option during that time. So, and then a job offer came from Des Moines too.
Wow.
There's again doors. It was with Regions Bank.
Okay.
Doors were opening. I walked on the through that open door, so I came to Des Moines and became a Drake student
in 2021.
Yes.
All right. So we coming out of the lockdown. I think around that time, me and your lives crossed paths. Because you're at Valley Church at this time. And you with a friend trying to start a podcast. And somebody introduced you to me.
2022.
That's 2022.
Yes.
Okay, your first year at Drake. Let's not skip past there. What was your first impression of Des Moines compared to Austin? And then also,
so this is why I say God knew what he was doing. Because if I had went straight to Des Moines, I wouldn't have appreciated Des Moines.
Yeah.
As much as when I went through Austin, the small town.
You like,
And then seeing the 200,000, people city. Like, okay, there are people. I appreciate this balance between small town and the big city.
Yeah.
So now I love Des Moines.
Des Moines is like a perfect,
balance.
Like mid-sized city.
Yeah.
A lot of my people from Texas and just anywhere I mention when I'm from Texas, why you don't move back to Texas? The area I'm from is like very fast.
Yep.
And Des Moines is just like
chill. The right
cruise control, you know.
I drove in Texas. That's literally how I felt going back here.
Man, yeah, no, but that's awesome. So yeah, now that first year you're starting to appreciate Des Moines more because coming from Austin, which makes sense. No disrespect to Austin, Minnesota, but with that being said, like you're on this journey now in Des Moines, 2022. Like I said, we bump into each other, have a quick meeting, and then. You still at Region Bank at this time and studying?
No, I think
You moved to Chase at this point? When did you get to Chase?
2022. I think I was with Chase already.
Okay, so you transitioned to Chase. All right, what's going on at this area of your life in 2022 until like 2023, early 2023, before you made a big shift in your career?
What is going on with my life back then? Oh my goodness. I was in a huge transition. Again, going back to the catalyst of all this was this relationship. I finally came to a point where this isn't working. I've done everything I could. I hit a point where it's just I felt lost because I came here partly because of that too. That relationship, and I felt
that had a huge factor.
And then I felt like I was giving everything, and then it's just not going anywhere. I felt like I had no purpose being here. I just wanted to go back to the Philippines.
Got it.
Yeah.
So this is a hard season.
Really was. Even harder than COVID. Because it was just, when I moved here, didn't really connect with anybody yet. And it was 1 year of that. I just don't know.
Which is hard.
Couldn't connect.
Yeah. That's hard. People don't talk about it a lot, but making friends and building community as an adult,
hard.
Very hard. Yeah. Imagine being from another country and trying to come to a new spot where in Austin you had classmates and stuff like that. So, but what do you think you learned the most doing this hardship? Even harder than COVID to you. What do you think? What lesson did you learn the most?
You don't go at your problems alone.
That's beautiful.
Especially when you have a community, it's normal for you. You take it for granted. Yeah, we tend to just isolate. I don't want to be with people. I just want to deal with it alone.
Yeah.
But then I was forced to be alone. then I realized, okay, this is not how we're designed.
This is not how we're supposed to live life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting you got that feeling outside of COVID. That blows my mind. I understand it, though, because you were there, you were in it. But that's because I felt that a lot in COVID. But, and most other people around the globe also felt that. But, yeah, just understanding you can't do this life alone. Huge. Sorry, I cut you off.
I'm more generally an introvert. I can be an extrovert if needed, but generally I get my energy from
There's a balance.
Alone. Yeah, but too much of alone time isn't good either.
Yeah, that's interesting. Every time somebody say that, and I agree 100%. I'm an extrovert, extreme.
Yeah.
And you know this. Nobody, and when I carve out time for myself and I be selfish, it's like I feel so much charged up better. And I don't get much because I get energy by being with people.
Yeah.
Nobody tells the extrovert, dog, you need to go be alone right now. Right.
No.
But when the introvert is like struggling and they're alone all the time, everybody like, you need to go in society. Right. I'm trying to start that wave where we push extroverts like myself to, bro, people tired of hearing you talk. Shut up. Go lay down. Go read a book. So, no, it's interesting you say that. I always like to talk about that perspective because nobody's ever told me as an extrovert, maybe you need to spend some time alone. But never. But yeah, no. But when you was forced to be alone, that was a difficult season, and you realized you needed people. That's beautiful. Yeah. People are good. So now at Chase, going through this hardship, and you about to make in 2023, you making 2022, you making a big shift, transition in careers.
Oh yeah. So during that time that I was alone, I knew I needed to do something. I plugged into Valley and found a Bible study group.
Yep.
And that's when I met Karen and Joseph Johnson, who are now my bosses.
Yeah. If you know Karen and Joseph Johnson, they was formerly interviewed on this podcast. Joe Johnson was, and still waiting to set up Karen's, but they are the CEO of Change Course, where me and Dani both work.
Yeah. At first, it was hard to connect. The thing with finding friends and community as an adult is, like what you mentioned, it's hard, but you don't stop in the first meeting and like people are like, oh, there's no chemistry, there's no vibe. Then they'd stop going, right? I knew I can't be alone. I had to push through, even if there wasn't a connection in the beginning.
You were determined.
I prayed about it though, because sometimes we hinder ourselves from connecting.
100%.
So I kept pushing, and they were reaching out too. So that's what I appreciated about that group. Because sometimes I would, just don't go, but they would also reach out. So I, just leaned into that and
praise the Johnsons. Man. Praise God.
Now again, they're my bosses. So they knew what I was doing for college. I've always been in the banking industry because I grew up poor, and my thought was knowing about money will help me build money. Yeah. And help other people get out of poverty. But what was happening was I was just helping people, either rich people get richer. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my calling. Yeah.
And that's fair too.
Yeah. So I felt restless. I just didn't know what to do yet. But then, early 2022 hit. That's when Joe talked about what he was starting, and then him and Karen talked to me about potentially working for them. When they talked about the mission of getting people out of poverty in Des Moines, not just economically but relationally and spiritually. I'm like, I'm all in. I'm in. That's what I was looking for. And then.
So what is Change Course? Can you explain to me what that is? What you guys doing over there?
Yeah, you work there. Why don't you explain?
What are you guys doing there? Like, what's going on?
Change Course is a personal and career development program. It was 6 months. Now we're trying a new
5-month
format of 5 months. Basically equip anybody who's ready for that chance for a career with coping skills, basic career skills. But what's unique about the program is the community that surrounds participants. It's really one of the keys for change, because I went through it. I knew I needed community. Just makes sense to do the same thing for other people.
Where do I sign up? No,
You want to go through the program?
I need it.
I'll be your career coach.
Yes, please. No, in all seriousness, and the target audience for Change Course is people who are previously incarcerated, can't get on the job, can't get on the career path, or people just in poverty on government assistance and can't find a way out of poverty trap. Yeah. We try to help them, come alongside them, and let them do all the work to get to where they need to be in their career. So, yeah, but praise God for Change Course and obviously the Johnsons and employee number one, everybody. Yeah. So she walk around the office calling herself employee. No, I'm just playing. She don't. They call her employee number one because she was, and now she's my supervisor too, which she don't like. I call her boss just to make her feel weird. But yeah, appreciate it, boss. Thank you for being here. All right, so. Any other things we want to go over before we get into our final wrap-up questions? Any other message or situation, season of your life that I missed that's important to you? Obviously, your whole life is important.
But
Yeah.
It's a tough question. Because there's a lot of different seasons that taught me different things.
This is how it should be.
Yeah.
Not always easy, but that's how it should be.
Yeah. I can't think of anything right now.
That's okay. All right. Well, we'll go to our final wrap-up questions, but before we get there, Dani, I do want to tell you I appreciate you as a colleague, as a person who I work with and, learn from and kind of make fun of a little bit.
Yep.
Somebody got to pull your chain. You're employee number one. I'm trying to pull you down. I'm kidding. But I do appreciate your leadership and everything that you bring to the team. It's important. It's valuable. And Change Course would not be as far as it is without you. Praise God.
Yep.
All right, so let's wrap this thing up, and then we got to get to our conference. I'm looking at your watch, Dani. You see her? Gosh. All right.
Type A.
I'm gonna go from the bottom up on this time. On this
these are the hard questions.
What's one skill or habit you have previously worked on improving and you've consistently got better at?
That's hard because I don't know the measure of, for me to say I'm consistently getting better at it. So I've always been for the for-profit world, right? And then switching to nonprofit. I think the skill of balancing, in terms of execution, the heart of a nonprofit, but the mind of a for-profit.
Yeah, it's good. It's something we all trying to learn.
It's hard, especially because, when you get to know the people we work with, we help.
Yeah.
You just get involved and attached, and then we forget about the mind sometimes. We still got to keep cash flow. Yeah. And it's hard. Yeah. But it's hard when you in it and you trying to love on these people and come alongside these people who come from backgrounds like ours. They didn't have it all. They weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So it's messy. It's yucky. And it's messy up top too with rich people as well too. I shouldn't say up top. With rich folks, it's messy too. They just, money can kind of cover that up a little more. But I understand exactly what you're saying. We get in the ebbs and flows of things. And you're like, but I'm forgetting. I got to get this and this and that done. We need this grant through. We need to get it. Yep.
So, no, I understand.
And,
if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about leadership, what would it be?
It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I was first time I became a supervisor, I was such a perfectionist. The first thing I did when I got my first team, I fired probably half of them. Cause
I'm on the chopping block.
In my head, you're not doing what we're asking you to do. We're going to let you go. I didn't even have that conversation nor develop them to be at that standard. Because in my head, results.
Yeah.
I was young.
Do you think that was a failure or a success for you? Letting go half your team. Not in the long run, like in the short term. Moment. Yeah.
Ooh.
She think y'all needed to go. She think y'all needed to go.
It kind of did send the message needed at that time that I was serious about what we were trying to achieve.
And sometimes you got to establish that authority. Yeah.
It worked at the time, but I wouldn't do it every time.
Yeah. Depends on the team. You kind of had the feeling.
Yes.
All right. What is one book, podcast, or resource that has significantly shaped your leadership journey?
A lot. So,
Give me 3.
Craig Rochelle's
Craig Rochelle.
leadership podcast.
Okay.
He's really good in balancing the Christian, how to be a Christian leader in this world. I would say John Maxwell, and
I can tell you've been at a lot of airports. I only see his books at the airport. That's why I say that.
Wow. Weren't you in his conference when he came to Des Moines?
No.
He's good. He has a lot of experience. Third one. Your podcast.
We made the cut again. This is awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. What failure or challenge shape you into being a better leader / coach today?
Oh. Your questions are hard because there's no one answer to it.
This is good.
Like every
You learned a lot of little,
every failure.
What's the biggest one? One that we can relive with you right now. Like when you let go of your team and thought it was a success. Just like that.
I'll use a more recent one. So because I was transitioning into the nonprofit world, right? So I was kind of finding my footing too.
Yeah.
Like, how do I become a leader here without just focusing on the numbers? Because again, the heart of it is very important.
Absolutely.
And as I was transitioning to it, there was a situation wherein my leadership was questioned. That I was told I was controlling everything, and it was very public how it was addressed.
Yeah.
And so it made me take a step back and reassess. Am I doing it the wrong way? Am I the right person even for the job? Because I don't want to... Oh, I don't want to cry. I don't want to hinder what God's doing.
Yeah.
Can do this.
Yeah.
For our organization. Because I know it's big. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I do feel it in my spirit. It's slowly getting there, and I don't want to hinder it. And if I even talked to Joe about it. If I'm hindering it, let me know. I take a step back.
Yeah.
But by God's grace, He slowly affirmed.
Yeah. Nobody on the team felt that way.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Nobody on the team.
He slowly affirmed where I'm at. Obviously, I need to change some things, but.
Yeah.
I still think it was a failure in a way because I did make some mistakes. It's just that it became so public that it really affected me personally.
Yeah.
But again, with you guys, like my community and God, just validating me and reaffirming me, and so I'm going back that path again.
I love that, and I love to see the way you came out of this situation, and I love the fact that you even taking it on, because we don't see it as a failure, but you see it as, all right, I self-assessed, I've gotten better, which is all that matters. And I just realized something in this very moment. In 2 of your hardest years, I entered your life.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I just put that together right here.
Oh.
So
God knew I needed an extrovert.
Thankful. Yeah, you needed some a ray of sunshine. What Chris say? What your husband Chris say? Is that guy always smiling? Chris, I definitely, Samantha will tell you I'm not always smiling. Last question, then we got to get out of here. We're coming up on our hour. If listeners can take away one thing, I'm limiting you to one on this one, from this conversation, what do you hope it is?
I guess from my life story, it's really be faithful in every step of your journey.
Wow.
Because there's a reason for it. God knows what He's doing. There is a purpose for everything we're going through. Even if sometimes it's our own doing, God still has a purpose for it. He will use it to where He needs it to be. So if everything that I went through, just go through it. Hard times, go through it. Be faithful that there is another side to what you're going through, and when you get to the other side, and you look back and say, "Whew, I went through that. I'm stronger for it. Thankful for it, and it wasn't that bad. Thinking about it.
Dani Mincks, ladies and gentlemen. I think anything I say after that would do that discredit. That was beautifully. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And y'all be seeing this soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in and making it all the way to the end of today's episode. To stay connected and find more resources, be sure to visit JawanHakeem.com. If you found value in today's conversation, please leave us up to a 5-star review on wherever you listen. It is the biggest and best way to help the Minds with Hakeem podcast grow and get these conversations in front of more leaders like yourself. Until next time, and take care. Keep building up your mind.